The presidential election is now down to two men in their 70s, former Vice President Joe Biden and current President Donald Trump. Here's a look at the political history of both presidential candidates and the road ahead. Biden has spent his career in public service. At 66, he became Barack Obama's vice president, overseeing deployment of the 2009 stimulus package. He and Obama grew close during their 8 years in office together. It's a friendship Biden referenced relentlessly during his primary campaign to voters who remember the former president fondly. Biden said he felt compelled to run in 2020 because he wanted to make sure the Democrats would nominate someone who could beat Trump. His policy agenda is undoubtedly liberal, especially on issues like climate change and labor reform. Yet he offers a far more restrained vision for the future than other members of his party. And he continues to emphasize the need for bipartisanship with Republicans. Biden has some obvious strengths as a candidate. For voters exhausted by the daily chaos of the Trump White House, his elder statesman-like qualities represent a much-needed return to normalcy. In a party that has swung left, his more centrist instincts could appeal to moderate voters. Still, steep challenges await Biden in a general election. He would be 78 if he won the White House. And according to polls, voters overwhelmingly say they worry about a candidate who's that old. He also assumes control of a party that has changed markedly since his days in the Senate, one that has shifted to the left and more fully incorporates the voices of women, young people, and in particular, young men and women of color. Biden relied heavily on older voters to win the primary, but he desperately needs the support from younger people to win in November. He's already showing some signs of trying to court them since winning the primary, unveiling new proposals on healthcare and education meant to make his platform more liberal. His Democratic opponent, Bernie Sanders, made it a point during their debates to pressure Biden about his policy proposals and voting record. Interestingly enough, his saving grace with some voters could be his VP choice. Biden committed to choosing a woman for his ticket during this March debate with Sanders. Donald Trump was a real estate mogul and TV personality before becoming the 45th U.S. president. Since his shock victory in 2016 over Hillary Clinton, he has cut taxes, engaged in a trade war with China, and pursued an ultimately unsuccessful bid to remake the country's healthcare system. Voters picked him 4 years ago because they saw him as different from previous presidents, and his presidency has been far from traditional. Never before has the American public seen a president who so openly shares his thoughts and grievances on Twitter, relishes attacking the mainstream press, or delights in personally insulting his political opponents.
As crooked as Hillary, they may even be more crooked than Hillary.
Before the coronavirus pandemic, he had been praised for an economy that had been going strong. Republicans love his many appointments of conservative judges and commitment to reducing business regulations. And to some, his unorthodox style has helped shake up a political status quo in dire need of change. Trump has promised more of the same of his approach to governing if he's given another term. Presidents rarely make dramatic changes in their second terms, so how Trump has acted and governed during his first 4 years is likely an accurate glimpse of how he'd perform if given another 4 years in the Oval Office. But the 73-year-old's re-election campaign might hinge on his current response to the coronavirus outbreak that has killed tens of thousands and left the country's economic future deeply uncertain.
The deadly virus success in this fight will require the full, absolute measure of our collective strength, love, and devotion for it.
If the country rebounds, it might make Trump look like a strong leader whose economic policies help stimulate a recovery. If the country rebounds poorly, however, the losses could undercut Trump's central argument for his re-election campaign, a strong economy.
I created the greatest economy in history, the greatest employment numbers, the greatest success in history. And then one day we had to close it down. We're going to beat those numbers.
Trump does have one key advantage, a fervent base of support that will loyally stick with the president no matter what happens. Those supporters also helped Trump assemble a massive financial war chest for his campaign. But the president's actions in office have also inflamed a vigorous opposition, one that has many Democrats ready to vote against him in November. The 2020 battle between Joe Biden and Donald Trump promises to be a historic election.